Welcome to Unlock with Daryl Davis. This is a Shocker Media Vault production, and we'll be going into phase 3 of my journey in the concrete jungle from 2006 to 2010, learning to walk by faith. In 2006, in our last episode in phase 2, we discussed that I had been attacked by gang members behind 2 ice cream sandwiches and 2 soda waters. And this is where walking by faith began. I started with Bible studies in 1998 and progressed to begin to grow in my spiritual faith. So in 2006 to 2010, I was tested in my walk. They locked me up in high security to be transferred to another unit. The unit I was transferred to was the Micah unit, one of the first units that was built on its style and housing in 1990. There, I was put into population and words follow you, and I was labeled a rat, although I wasn't a rat, and many people began to learn that. And some of the guys that was on the Polonsky unit, former Daryl unit with me, was shipped to the Micah unit, and they knew this here. So I began to settle in on that unit and began to teach Bible classes on that unit. I taught a Bible class every Tuesday and Thursday. Joined a lot of spiritual-based programs. They call them Christian-based programs in there. I was part of Judaism. I studied Catholicism, and I began to grow spiritually. In 2007, I was leading a church service on Sundays. And in 2007, it was February 2007 to be exact, I had a stack of Tyler Morning Telegram newspapers. And I was going to put them on the table and let other inmates read them. But the Holy Spirit came up on me heavy that morning and told me, don't throw those papers away. Just read them when you get in. So when I took off out to church that morning, I put the papers back in my house. I went my Sunday like normal. Went down there, led church services, into it, came back, watched a NASCAR race. And I went in for the evening. And I began to unwind. I had put my hot pot on and make me a pot of coffee and getting ready to listen to the prison show. Well, my mother used to call a prison show every Sunday night to talk to us inmates on Texas 99, Fairfield, Texas. And when she would call up there, she would send a shout out, I'm calling for my baby Daryl Davis. That's my baby. But all of y'all my babies down there. Y'all can get out and do right. So the inmates began to love on my mother. My mother began to love on them. And they developed a relationship. So in 2007, that night, that Sunday evening when I came in, I began to read the newspapers. And I picked up one that said 75-year-old woman get attacked and robbed in her garage in a 2700 block of Plaza. Immediately, I knew that was my mother because we only had 2 houses on our street. And the other one is a male there, and he's not 75. So I began to read the article where it states that my mother had went to this pharmacy and bought a certain amount of money orders. And the guy and his girlfriend was in there with her. They followed her home, got her in the garage, and attacked her and robbed her. And I'm reading this in the paper, but it don't give no name. So I'm locked in that Sunday night. I can't get out, so I'm up all night long drinking coffee. So when they roll the doors for breakfast about 2:30, I get out, I get the newspaper, and I went to looking for other newspapers with this article, and just to try to identify that this is my mother by name. And don't no newspaper have my mother's name in it, it just have her age and the 100 blocks she lived in. So I convinced the officer at that time of morning to make a call for me. The officer did. Unfortunately, the phone rang several times, picked up and hung up. This went on like 3 times that night. Now I'm devastated. I can't find my mother. So when I get up the next morning, I go try to find my mother. The same thing happened with the chaplain. Ring, hang up. So God began to minister to me unknowingly what was about to take place. He said, what are you going to do when you come face to face with the man that robbed your mother? Well, I'm not trying to hear that right now, Lord. I'm trying to find my mother. This go on for a few weeks. I have officers, staff members, inmate family members, chaplain's department, everyone trying to find my mother. It's like an APB out on her. And God started ministering to me every day. What are you going to do when you come face to face with the man that robbed your mother? Well, my answer was always the same to him. I'm not trying to hear that right now, Lord. I'm trying to find my mother. So I began to overthink my situation, being in a panic. Only thing I have is a newspaper. So I said, man, you have over 150 some prisons in the state of Texas. I'll never come face to face with the man that robbed my mother. I said, the next time God come to me, I have something for him. On March the 7th of 2007, God came to me. He said, what are you going to do when you come face to face with the man that robbed your mother? I said, I'm going to forgive him, Lord. I walked by 4 feet. And that chaplain said, Mr. Davis, I found your mother. She's in the hospital. She's going to have surgery at 2 o'clock. You go and go to chow, and when you finish eating, come to the chaplain's office, and I'll let you call your mother. I told the Chaplain Laura, Cynthia Laurie was the chaplain. I said that I'm not trying to eat. I want to talk to my mother. Come on, let's go. So we went up there, and I was able to talk to my mother. This had to be around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. My mother was going into surgery at 2. And I had an opportunity to pray with her. But I never knew what my mother was going into surgery for. I was questioning her, why you didn't call to let me know what happened to you. And her words was that I had enough on my plate to worry about. Even in the midst of my mess, she cared about me, not want to burden me. So I prayed with her. She said, but when Mama come out of surgery, I'm going to be down there to see you. I said, all right. So now I'm feeling better. I got news to give the men on the unit. Everything is looking up. So I guess it had to be about maybe April, early May, that she was able to come visit me. And when I seen my mother for the first time in maybe 10, 12 months, because she didn't come as often because of the radio. And I was in the Tennessee College area in Palestine, so I wasn't too far from home. And when I seen her, she was in a wheelchair. I never seen my mother in a wheelchair. I never seen her down. So the closer she get to me, and I'm looking down, I only see 1 foot. So she had a blanket on her. I yanked the blanket up off of her, and I only seen 1 leg, and I asked her what happened. She said they had to amputate her leg because of the robbery. Man, it seemed like a ton of bricks dropped on me. When my mother needed me most in life, she couldn't depend on me to protect her. All this guilt began to rush over me. But on the other side, I had a blessing that I still had my mother. So we began to talk and do what we do in visitation and enjoy each other. So this go on for about a year. Around February or March of 2008, I was summoned by gang members that had came looking for me. And when you come looking for me, yeah, I'm coming. And I'd already had a problem with gang members a couple of years earlier in 2006. So when I went out there to find out what was going on, the gang member said that that's whole ass nigga that robbed Mama Davis, he's over there on 4 building. What's up? What you mean, what's up? That so-and-so can't stay here. He's got to go. What you mean? He robbed Mama Davis. What's up? I said, ain't nothing up. I said, look here, dudes. I said, we all done something to people. What you trying to say, whole ass nigga? That's Mama Davis. I said, man, we all done something to people. Y'all need to go on about y'all business and let that go. So they began to threaten me. With me, you know, it's got to come action because I don't take threatening lightly in the penitentiary. So by me already being an inmate that's on high alert when stuff like that coming, you had officers that come out with gas guns and mask up because they didn't know what was going on. So when the operation resumed, I go to the chaplain's office and ask the chaplain for the master index. This time it was Chaplain Shank. He was over our Bible study class. And remember at that time I was teaching classes and running Sunday morning church services. So I'm growing in my faith right now. So when I go to the chaplain's office, I ask for the master index. So when the chaplain gave me the master index, I looked up the guy's name. And lo and behold, that's him. So I asked the chaplain to call him. Chaplain called him. I guess about 15, 20 minutes later, the guy shows. He said, "Chaplain, did you call for me?" The chaplain said, "Well, what's your name?" The guy tell him his name. He said, "Yes, I called for you, but I don't want you. He wants you." So I stood up and introduced myself to him. I said, "Man, my name is Daryl Davidson. You robbed my mama, but I forgive you." He said, "No, I didn't." I said, "You robbed my mama and I forgive you." He laid in my arms and began to cry. He said, "Man, I've been on this unit for 2 days. I ain't ate. I ain't took a shower." He said, "My own gang want to kill me." I said, "Man, just sit right here. I got you." And when I began to look back over on the years on that, that's like a person telling the lamb to trust me when he could be leading him to the slaughter. That guy knew nothing about me. He just knew everybody on that unit was angry at him for what he had done to my mother. But the Lord had different plans. Even though I thought I was finna trick the Lord, he had different plans. So I told him, I said, "I'm gonna feed you and I'm gonna make sure you're gonna be all right." So when the child hall opened up, I took him and I asked the officer, I said, "Officer, I need a table alone with this inmate." "Major, you always want something special around here. I'm always trying to do something. Can I get the table or not?" The officer gave me the table with him. I sit down and I told him, I said, "Man, ain't nobody on this unit gonna mess with you." I said, "You're gonna sit down and you're gonna eat now. When you finish, you're gonna go back to your pod. I'm gonna send word over there to let you in your cell. If you wanna come out and take a shower, you can. If not, you can stay in your shower, in your cell, or you can come out and watch TV. It doesn't matter, but won't nobody mess with you." At this time, other inmates are coming through the cafeteria line. And people that's been in prison that know it don't take but a spark to start a wildfire in prison, because inmates are always looking for something to get into, just like a bunch of pack of hyenas. So when we finished eating, he went his way, I went my way. I sent word over there, and the next day, I sent for him to come out. I said, "This is what it's gonna be around here." I showed him the rope, showed him my moves. I said, "You don't have to do my moves. You can do your moves, but won't nobody mess with you." Of course, it took about 3 or 4 months for this to regulate on me and the unit, because I'm in shock. Why would these white people put this man on this unit and he done robbed my mother? The guy had got 75 years for robbing my mother. They gave him the same amount of time the age of my mother was when he robbed her. And he was a young guy. He had to do 30 calendar years just to come up for parole. So his parole officer hadn't even been born yet. So that's some stuff that he has to deal with. I'm knowing this here, but he probably had never thought about it. We in 2008. My mother come to visit me one day, and we and her in there, we talking, and the guy that robbed my mother come to visit. And he said, "Look out, Major, how you doing?" I said, "Everything all right, how you doing, my man?" And he said, "I'm good." He said, "My wife had brought my son down here to see me." He said, hey, Mama Davis, how you doing? Now my mother's back calling on the radio because she had for over a year now. And she said, I'm doing all right, baby. And he grabbed my mother by her neck and he kissed her. And I'm sitting there looking at her. I got a little smile on my face. And she said, all right, thank you, baby. So he said, all right, Major, I'm gonna go on over there and visit. I said, yeah, I see you back on the unit. So my mama said, who was that boy kissing all on me like that? I said, Mama, that's that boy that robbed you. She looked and swung her head one way and yanked it back around and swung it again. She looked at me and she said, boy, God really have changed you, haven't he? And for the first time, I seen my mama look at me in a different light. And after that, me and the guy and his family, we all would gather up in visitation and sit down, and I'm still walking by faith because I'm trying to trust in what the Lord is doing with me. And people would come down to the church house and they'll see me, and man, God was good. I was getting ready to go to court for my lawsuit that I filed against the state in 2007, and everything was good. God was steady opening doors for me. And it was just the other day that I realized that the reason that God blessed you is because you was faithful. You didn't lie to him. When he asked you, what was you gonna do when you come face to face with the man that robbed your mother? You said that you was gonna forgive him. But actually, I wasn't even conscious of what I was saying at the time. I was just saying something to get God off my back. But walking by faith allowed me to fulfill that promise that I made to him on March the 7th of 2007. And that carried me along. And in 2010, I was able to go to trial on my lawsuit. I won a $25,000 judgment against Officer Michael McDuffie for placing a contract hit on me. And that was my journey of learning to walk by faith in phase 3 of my journey in the concrete jungle.